Mic check, 1, 2. Well, good morning, boys and girls, children of all ages, and all the educators and the administrators that are here with us this morning. My name is Grant Whitstone. I'm from Onion Lake Cree Nation, just down the road here. One of your neighbors, one of your good neighbors. So it's an honor always to be a part of, Master of Ceremonies, especially, events like this, not only here in Lloydminster, but also in different communities throughout Western Canada. Before we go ahead with the program, ladies and gentlemen, it is always important that we follow proper protocol on who we are as human beings and the indigenous way of life. And because we're bringing in the Eagle staff that comes from the school here, I do believe, and also we're going to be bringing in the colors, the flags that will be following the Eagle staff. But before we do that, it's always important that we do certain songs that we sing for ceremonies like this. And I just want to share with you as we go throughout the program, I'll be explaining to you all the different songs that are going to be sung here throughout the ceremony. So this morning, we have some singers you see to my left, Red Tail singers from Onion Lake also. So before we go ahead and do the grand entry song, I have got direction from the elders over there at the grand entry area. We're going to ask the singers to honor us with a drum song. And with that drum song, ladies and gentlemen, it's a blessing that the singers will be singing for each and every one of us, along with everybody else that's coming into the grand entry. If you could all rise at this time, and singers, if you can give us 2 starts of the drum song. All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're going into the program, and like I said earlier, there's certain things that we follow proper protocol, and at this time we're going to be doing what we call the grand entry. And so the singers, we'd like to ask you to stand by, and we would like to bring in the Eagle staff and the colors at this time. And for this one, I would like to ask everybody to remain seating. That way everybody can have a good visual as the grand entry comes in. Singers, we ask you now to help us out with the grand entry song. Whenever you're ready, boys, Nigamo. Ah, what a beautiful sight it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's not very often that we witness a beautiful grand entry like what we're witnessing this morning. As we're coming in right through the front of the gymnasium, coming in, we have the Eagle staff that represents all Indigenous and Métis people in Inuit across Canada. Also, the representation of this Eagle staff is with the school. So at this time, this is their Eagle staff coming in, along with the respected colors of this country. We have the dignitaries coming in, following carrying the colors, and the elders, and also the administration that's part of this important day today. And following the administrators is the traditional dancers. We have the traditional dancers, and we have the grass dancer, and the boys fancy, ladies traditional, and ladies jingle and fancy dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're coming around to the back, and we're going to make one full circle, and we're going to put the colors into their respective areas. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing a beautiful grand entry that you will never see anywhere else in the world, where we showcase the beautiful colors of the dancers, the beautiful songs of the singers, and of course, the Eagle staff and the colors that are being brought in. Oh, thank you very much for that round of applause. Before we go on into the the ceremony, as I was saying, this is one of the proper protocols we do when we bring in the Eagle staff like this. At this time, I'd like to ask the people that I announced to take one step forward as I acknowledge you're coming into the grand entry. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in and carrying the Eagle staff, let's give a round of applause for Elder Mike Young and Cynthia Young. And of course, let's give a round of applause for this young Oscapios, this young man. I didn't catch his name, but it's always important to acknowledge. Carrying in the Union Jack, Constable Melanie Flynn. Carrying the Canadian flag, Paula Scott. Carrying the Alberta flag, Garth Roswell. Carrying the Saskatchewan flag, Colleen Young. Carrying the Treaty 6 flag, Gerald Aubers. And of course, carrying the Métis Nation flag, Vince Oreo. Elder Brent Dillon. Oscapios Glenn Muskego. Reverend Ron Rodriguez. And your LCSD Board of Trustees. My apologies, I didn't get the principal's name to my right here. It's always important that we acknowledge everybody. We can't forget anybody. And of course, the Ugimao, the principal, Mr. Nigel McCarthy. Let's give him a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go back to the singers, we're going to ask them to help us out. We go back and we remember the children and the families for this special day when we talk about truth and reconciliation. Today is a special day that we announce as the Orange T-shirt Day, something that the federal government recognized many, many years ago in regards to the residential school era. As you all know, a lot of the families were separated by their little ones and their children and were taken into schools. And a lot of those children never made it home. And in honor and respect for today's ceremony, we ask the singers to help us out with the honoring of the Eagle staff and flag song to remember and to recognize for all those people that got affected by that in residential school area. Singers, if you can help us out, we're going to ask you to sing us 4 starts of the flag song. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everybody else, we ask you to all rise at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying earlier, there's certain songs that are sung for certain ceremonies. Today, we honor the Eagle staff. The song that the singers that are singing today is called the Flag Song. As we all know, Canada, this country, does have a national anthem. In the indigenous way of life, the Eagle staff that you see in front of you and the singers that are rendering this song, this is our national anthem. And at this time, we thank you for helping us out in recognizing the songs that are being sung as part of this ceremony. Thank you. If you could remain standing at this time, Red Tail, we're going to ask you to help us out with 2 starts of the victory song. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This victory song that you're going to be hearing here at this time goes back, and it talks about all the good things that are happening in today's society, where the governments of this land and this country are recognizing and working together with all the indigenous people across this land and finding new ways in moving forward in regards to the truth and reconciliation. And today, Orange Day is one of the things that the government recognized and made it nationwide, that it be declared a holiday, a statutory holiday in all indigenous countries across this country in remembrance of the families and the children in the residential school era. Dance hard, dancers, dance hard in victory. Ha-ha. Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful grand entry. You may be seated. If you can now post your colors, Eagle staff, come this way and come and post your Eagle staff over here. Right behind you is the flag stands where you can post your colors. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, singers. And once again, thank you for all the dignitaries and the elders that brought in the Eagle staff and the colors for us this morning. You know, while we were waiting here, ladies and gentlemen, I had mentioned a couple of times that there was a pipe ceremony going on outside the building in a separate little building outside. And it's always important that we do some of these ceremonies before we bring in Eagle staffs like this, that we acknowledge Creator, God's creation of why we are here today, and also acknowledge that each and every one of you, including myself, we're allowed to open our eyes this morning and wake up. What a beautiful day it turned out to be this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And of course, we always acknowledge with prayer. Each and every one of us has our own little way of praying to God, the Creator, and give thanks to all the things that we go through each and every day. And we're very blessed that we are continuing to walk this way of life. It doesn't matter who we are, because we all know that we had a tough 2 or 3 years with the pandemic that was going on nationally all over the world. So with that, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, in respect, I'm going to ask that Father Aaron come up and give us the prayer. How?
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. O God, great Spirit and Creator, we praise you for the gifts that surround us, for the gift of the land that gives us food, shelter, and water, for the gift of the sun that gives warmth and light to all that grows, for the gifts of the moon and stars, which you have arranged for your glory, for the gifts of language and culture through which your peoples praise you and share the most deeply held values you have engraved on our hearts. Give us flaming hearts that burn with love for you, who come to us in every human face, in every language and culture, in every gift of creation. Make us stewards of one another's dignity, of one another's safety, of one another's lands, of one another's right to our cultural identity. As unique peoples, as gifts to the human family, as your beloved children. Today and in all the days ahead, we offer our desire to walk with our First Nations brothers and sisters, to journey with them on the path of truth, healing, and reconciliation, as we share this early pilgrimage to our heavenly homeland, where every tear will be wiped away and every sorrow will be turned into joy. Bless us today as we receive the Eagle staff to mark our commitment to continuing Pope Francis' penitential pilgrimage. Give us one heart and one mind to walk forward together along this path in the love and strength of your Spirit, in truth, reconciliation, and peace. We make this prayer in the power of your most holy name. Amen.
Oh, thank you. Now, at this time, I'd like to ask Elder Mike Young to step forward if you can help us out. I have you on my itinerary to help us out with the prayer in the Cree language. Astam.
That's that's something that I learned from my elder Brent as a greeting to welcome you all, my relatives, in this event today. And I'm going to do my best to say a prayer in my language. How mo tao e mau kasamantu se wats yan sugas yan. Naskutene kami nakita kataki sa gawe peawi yak. Naskuman mina kagano ogus kano ama tuganak ego kagano ogus kano ama ganak ota kape tute segota kape opat makoma es et nigane panekigo. I mean, naskomau, nestes, Helgo Brent, I tap the wagomak, I open out with spagana notes. Helgo mina naskomon. Helgo tapit nanagaten. Hey.
All right. Before we go on into the program, one of our elders in our community, Mr. Brent Dillon, would like to address you guys at this time. How, Brent?
Grant, thank you, Grant. I'd like to acknowledge, I'm going to use the word language. I'd like to acknowledge the drum, the singers. They give us life. That drum will give you life as you sit out there and watch the dancers dance. Because without that drum, without those singers, this dancing wouldn't happen. And so I just came up here to acknowledge that. And again, have a good day. I thank the Creator for this beautiful day.
Let's give our three people a round of applause for rendering us with some good blessings. Aha, thank you very much. All right. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't help myself when I walked in and I seen the big sign walking into the foyer over there. It says Raiders. How many Raiders fans are here today? Come on, you got to do better than that. I myself am a Raiders fan, but a Las Vegas Raiders fan. I just had to throw that in there. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, our next speaker, I want to ask to come to the podium. Please welcome Board Chair of the Lloydminster Catholic School Division, Paula Scott. Division for the Land and Recognition of Lord Minster. Paula?
Good morning. I would like to acknowledge we are meeting today on Treaty 6 land, located within the ancestral and traditional territory of the Indigenous peoples of this area. This land has been and will continue to be home to the Cree and Métis people within the boundaries of Treaty 6. We also wish to acknowledge the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. It is also my pleasure to welcome our MLAs, Mrs. Colleen Young and Mr. Garth Roswell, Father Arun, my fellow trustees, Mayor Albers, Elders Brent and Glenn, Don Wheeler and the Synergy Credit Union team, the Red Tail Drum Group, led by Clint Whitstone, as well as all of our beautiful dancers who are here today, and to all of our staff and students who are able to join us here in the gymnasium and throughout the division. Thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you very much. You know, as Master of Ceremonies, I've done a lot of different types of events, and sometimes it's my role to encourage the crowd. I'm sure you can clap a little harder than that. Let's give a round of applause to Paula. There we go. Thank you very much. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to cheer also, okay? Let's have a little yelp out there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your next speaker, I would like to ask to come to the podium, the Aboriginal Program Coordinator. Please welcome Cynthia Young.
Good morning, Minugisagao, Mrs. Young Ningasnigasan. I welcome you all here today as we continue our journey in reconciliation. We are all treaty people. When I first heard that, I didn't quite understand what it meant because I have a card that tells me I'm a treaty person. And then as I started my journey, I started to understand what it meant. And it means we are all treaty people, we are all responsible, and we are in this together. You and me. Kia agonia, we're in it. And what we do with what we're learning and how we're learning it is what's going to affect the future. I dream for my cultural students. I dream for them to have every success in the world and have every chance at everything they can do and possibly want, and to keep strong and resilient and to keep their cultural teachings. I dream for all students that anything you want to learn about my culture that you're able to, and that you learn the truth and you pass it on and you hold those teachings treasured into your heart. It's important for us to listen to our elders, our kiteak, our elders here today. We don't do much without consulting them. We make sure we're doing everything that they want us to do and that we're doing it properly and correctly. It's a big job teaching all you students across 6 schools, making sure I'm doing it right. So today we're here to welcome the Eagle staff. We're being honored with it. Over the past years, we've been honored with many things, but this one really hits hard because it's for all of us across the division. And the Eagle staff is one of our most sacred items. It's recognized by all Indigenous people. It's comparable to the coat of arms. It will remain with us, and it gives us the reminder never to forget and to keep learning. It's held in honor in ceremonies. It holds such respect as the Canada flag. Ours has 11 eagle feathers that are the numbered treaties. Ours has a dream catcher because of our dream catcher group here in our school. And we have some ribbons on it that represent the Cookham, the one that'll look after the students. Our division learned what it meant to have this Eagle staff, and as we have it, we will continue to teach the teachings about it and learn from it. We have a long journey to walk. We've walked it all together very well. I'm very proud to say I'm an employee of the Lloydminster Catholic School Division. And I want you to know that we are going to continue to hold our feasts. We're going to continue to put our teepees up. We're going to continue to hold our ceremonies. We are all on this learning journey together, walking our path. And look around you today. Look at your students, look at your classes, look at your schools. I always tell my students, take care of each other. Be good to one another, be kind, and smile. And don't leave anybody behind. And that's what it means to be a treaty person. Ego semaga, that's it.
Thank you very much. Your next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to ask you to help me out and welcome the MLA of the Government of Saskatchewan, Mrs. Colleen Young. Astam.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the invitation to join you on this special morning and bring greetings on behalf of Premier Scott Moe, the Honourable Don McMorris, Saskatchewan's Minister responsible for First Nations, Métis, and Northern Affairs, and the rest of my colleagues in the Government of Saskatchewan. I want to extend my gratitude to the elders who have joined us here today, to the drummers who have led us into the gym and will continue to lead us today, and the dancers who have displayed such wonderful colors and performance for us as we gathered here this morning. To all the students, teachers, and special guests here today, we gather on Treaty 6 territory and the home of the Métis, and it is a pleasure to be with you on National Truth and Reconciliation Day and to share in this opportunity. Saskatchewan's provincial government continues to work toward reconciliation, and we do that in many ways. One is through sponsorship and engagement grants. For example, earlier this year, on June 21st, the National Indigenous Peoples Day, Saskatchewan's Lieutenant Governor and the Government of Saskatchewan dedicated the Saskatchewan Residential School Memorial on the grounds of Government House in Regina. The construction of that permanent memorial fulfills the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action number 82, which recommends installing a publicly accessible, highly visible residential school memorial in each capital city to honor survivors and all the children who were lost to their families and communities. Elders and survivors were involved in every step of the monument's design and construction to honor traditional practices. Of course, reconciliation is all about what happens in our own communities. Like today, as we gather here to share in the experience of gifting an Eagle staff from the elders of Onion Lake Cree Nation, a very important symbol of recognition to honor the success of students and to acknowledge the efforts you have accomplished together working with elders from the Onion Lake Cree Nation. And that's because the Eagle staff is a sacred symbol that is held in high esteem and used for ceremonial purposes only. It is a commitment to the ongoing journey of understanding First Nations cultures here in your school and around our community. We have taken a positive step towards reconciliation. And as for me, one of many steps on my primary journey of reconciliation is to be present here with you today to listen, to understand, to acknowledge, and to connect. As an MLA, these experiences and events, as we have here this morning, help me to share information with my colleagues and the government of Saskatchewan. When we work together, we will make our communities stronger for tomorrow and for the many generations to come. Because, as been stated, we are all treaty people. Thank you, and congratulations to your teachers and parents on your magnificent event today.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to help me welcome the Government of Alberta, MLA Garth Roswell.
I bring greetings to this Truth and Reconciliation event from the Alberta Legislative Assembly and from Premier Jason Kenney. It is a privilege to be here today, involving as it does the presentation of the Eagle staff from the elders of the Onion Lake Cree First Nation to the Lloydminster Catholic School Division. An Eagle staff is a unique, sacred symbol that represents traditional Indigenous culture and clans. With the recent passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, we have experienced such pageantry and ceremony. Formal events have reminded people the value and the importance of ceremony, tradition, and culture. It was fitting that Indigenous leaders were invited to attend Her Majesty's funeral. Indigenous people have a formal relationship with the Crown that predates the formation of Canada by some 220 years. Today we have seen Indigenous culture and tradition on display. By our attendance, we acknowledge and accord the same respect to these ceremonies as to those recently in Britain. Presenting the Eagle staff today on National Truth and Reconciliation Day is fitting. I'd like to consider what the terms truth and reconciliation means. To do so, we must try to define each word. In today's world, truth is frequently cast in purely relativist terms, but it's not a modern creation. A jesting Pilate asked mockingly of Jesus, "What is truth?" A quote I recently read suggested, "Truth never hides, yet how hard to find." Because it is so hard to find, we must be more determined in our efforts to find it. By contrast, the term reconciliation is concrete. The dictionary definition of reconciliation is the process of two people or groups in a conflict agreeing to make amends and to come to a truce. Reconciliation is also the name of a Catholic sacrament involving the confession of sin. When confessing a sin, we must tell the truth. Therefore, the words reconciliation and truth, if not interchangeable, certainly are intertwined. I look forward to when September 30th is redundant, when the truth is agreed and reconciliation through the goodwill has been achieved. I am present here today not because it is my role, but because I want to play my part in achieving that day. By the presentation of the Eagle staff, I believe that the people of the Onion Lake Cree First Nation share that desire. Thank you for your attention. I will close by thanking the Lloydminster Catholic School Division and Onion Lake Cree Nation for their kind invitation to this event today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's always customary. The old people always used to say, and when you have people, visitors that come to your home and come to visit you, even just to stop in and say hi. It's always important, you know, with respect, that you give them a gift, telling them thank you for stopping in, thank you for just being a part of our life today. At this time, I'd like to ask Colleen to come forward as Cynthia bestows you with a gift for being a part of today's ceremony. Let's give Cynthia and Colleen a round of applause. Again, if I can ask Mike to step forward. And Garth, if you can come and accept this gift on behalf of Mike and the organizers, thank you for being a part of today's ceremony. As we go into the program, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you to help me out in welcoming to the podium the mayor of the city of Lloydminster, Gerald Aubers. Astam.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Good morning, everyone. Elders, Brent, Glenn, and Mike, thank you. Drummers, dancers, MLA Garth Roswell and MLA Colleen Young, Father Arun, and other distinguished guests, faculty, staff, and students of the Lloydminster Catholic School Division. On behalf of my council colleagues, thank you for the invitation and for welcoming us into this morning's event. It is a real privilege and honor to stand with you all here as treaty people and pay our respects to the land and our relationship with Indigenous peoples of Canada. This morning's event sends a powerful message to our young people that as the Lloydminster Catholic School Division, the City of Lloydminster, and the greater community of Lloydminster, we continue to raise awareness and educate others about our land's past. Municipal government plays an important role in reconciliation. 9 of the 94 calls to action outlined by the Indian Residential School Truth and Reconciliation Commission apply directly and indirectly to municipal governments. Much like you, the Lloydminster Catholic School Division, we are all on a journey. The City of Lloydminster, as an organization, is also on a journey supporting reconciliation. In recent years, we as the City of Lloydminster began undertaking annual training of our staff, city councillors, and myself included. This training provides opportunities for us to learn more about the history of the Indigenous peoples in Canada, the legacy of residential school system, and how we as non-Indigenous peoples can become influential voices in the journey of reconciliation. Much like the information sessions we're able to attend, I hope this morning's event brings you more robust understanding of our history and acknowledge the legacy of residential schools and their long-lasting impact on those who came before us and the survivors of the residential school system. So whether if you are just starting down your own path of learning about our nation's past or the vast history of Turtle Island, or if you're well on your journey of truth, everyone here today is taking positive steps towards the path of reconciliation. It is believed that to have true reconcile, it's important for us as Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples to learn from the past so we can come to terms with past events in a manner that rebuilds trust and respectful relationships. By doing so, we can work out historical differences and build healthy relationships with a focus for a better generation in Canada. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to ask Nigel McCarthy to present a gift to the Mayor of Lloydminster. Thank you for being a part of today's ceremony. Before I bring on the next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to share with you a little story. This is a testimony, a testament from one of the residential school survivors. You know, as we all know, a lot of Indigenous people in this country were called into the inquiry when this first started many, many years ago, and Indigenous people were called on to talk about their stories. Some stories were very tragic, and some stories, yes, they did a lot of good things for the people in this country. But one of the stories that really stood out at the time when the interviews were being done was of the orange shirt. How did it become about? And the story is that this little girl was going into the residential school, and the parent, the mom, didn't have any good clothing for the child. But there's one little shirt that the mom gave for her daughter to wear to school before she went to residential school. And it was an orange shirt. And so when this little girl went to the school, and this is a true testimony, I just wanted to share with you on why we recognize the orange shirt today. When the little girl attended school, the teachers or the nuns or however you want to acknowledge them, took the T-shirt off that little girl and didn't recognize that T-shirt, and they gave her the regular clothings of what the young students were wearing at the residential school era. And I know some of you have done research on how this Orange Shirt Day came about, but I just wanted to share with you that this was one of the true testimonies of one of the old people from down east that shared this story to the federal government when they were interviewing all the people across this country. So I just want to share with you with that. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time for that little story. At this time, I would like to ask you to help me welcome Archbishop Richard Smith to the podium. Okay, we're good?
Sorry, folks, Archbishop Smith was unable to join us this morning, but he does send his most heartfelt support and appreciation for your gathering for this event, and he hopes to be with us in years to come. So thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to deliver the message from the Archbishop Richard Smith. Dear elders, pipe carriers, drummers, and members of the Onion Lake Cree Nation, Director of Education Nigel McCarthy, distinguished government representatives, faculty, students, and staff of Holy Rosary High School, and honored guests. It's a great pleasure for me to send greetings to you on this National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, especially in the context of today's great honor bestowed upon Holy Rosary High School, the gift of an eagle staff, made by the elders of Onion Lake Cree Nation. I regret that I am not able to be with you, but thanks to Father Arun, I am able to share a few thoughts with you today. To begin, I join you in thanking the elders and community leaders of the Onion Lake Cree Nation for preparing and gifting this eagle staff to Holy Rosary School and by extension to the whole Lloydminster Catholic School Division. While the specific meaning of the eagle staff is best described by the elders who are with you today, the significance of this gesture cannot be overstated in the context of this National Day of Remembrance, of the penitential pilgrimage of Pope Francis to Canada this past summer, and of course, the commitment of Lloydminster Catholic Schools to advance the work of healing and reconciliation in our country. Each of these contexts remind us that reconciliation is a journey that involves all of us walking together towards a better future. At times, it requires careful and attentive listening to one another. And when we learn that our words and actions have caused offense to one another, let us have the courage to ask and to offer forgiveness to one another. Other times, we may need to speak or to act courageously together for the sake of justice and truth for all. Today, we see that reconciliation also involves celebrating long-standing partnerships and milestones reached along the journey. I want to congratulate and more precisely thank everyone from Onion Lake First Nation and Lloydminster Catholic Schools who have had a hand in making this day possible. Your work together and the success of your projects over the years are recognized today in this special ceremony. May the Lord, the giver of life, continue to shower blessings upon all of you gathered here today, and may He continue to guide all of our feet along the path of true reconciliation and peace. Thank you.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, not very often this happens to me, but I made a mistake. That's what happens when you have to follow a script, right? It says here that the Archbishop wasn't going to be here today, and there was a message that was going to be delivered. So, once again, my apologies. So, 1X for me. But you know what? That's all right. Well, we're almost at the end of the program. But you know, it's always nice to enjoy yourselves and have a little bit of fun when we're doing ceremonies like this, because laughter and humor is a part of healing. And when you bring out your emotions like that, and we see a lot of smiles, when you turn those frowns to smiles, that's even better, especially for a day like today. So with that, before we go on to the next item on the program, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and of course, all the people here that are sitting down, I need your help for this one, okay? Because it is a special day. And I want to make sure that, everybody recognizes a special day. not only because of the Truth and Reconciliation and the Orange T-shirt Day, but it is also a birthday to Cynthia Young. So, on a count of 3, I need everybody to help me sing a happy birthday song. It's only appropriate that we do this. It's customary, if that's what it is, if that's how you want to call it. On a count of 3, Cynthia, come on over here. You're not getting away with this one. Come right in front of the podium here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, on a count of 3, happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Louder. Let's give her a round of applause. You know, it's not nice to ask for people's ages, so I'm not even going to go there. Man, I swear I'm getting good at this. Colleen says you got 1 X. Anyways, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention to the screen, we are now going to show us. Oh, you guys shut the lights on me too quick here. The Truth and Reconciliation 2022 video presentation, including former and current students of the Holy Rosary High School testimonies. Okay, here we go.
But what's happening here today is we're harvesting the tree that's going to go in the center of our cultural center in the new wing. There's always a tree in the middle of our ceremonies, a Sundance, a Elders Lodge, all those kind of things. So we're being true to the culture by making sure we have one in our new center at the school.
It's not just a random tree. This tree was given to me in my dream. Our grandfathers come and tell me that the tree was in here and that I was supposed to go and look for it. And it's actually, that's where this tree comes from, and that's why we're here.
Truth and reconciliation means to me that we can still find hope and good things even though all of these terrible things have happened to us in the past. They need to know that this has happened and it's part of our history, and we can't forget about it, you know? It still affects so many people today, and it's a very important issue to talk about.
For me, it was almost bad to be Indigenous. You know what I mean? It was almost like I knew it was wrong because the people around me made it feel like it was wrong.
When I was younger, I would have found anger or distrust in people who did not understand or know about Indigenous cultures from the perspective of an Indigenous person, because that's the only reality I knew.
To see us now where we are, where we're teaching and celebrating Indigenous culture, it means a lot to me, because then I can be proud of who I am.
So, on behalf of all of you, right? Because you represent all the students of Holy Rosary High School today, but also for years to come. Because this tree is going to stand at the center of our Truth and Reconciliation space when you graduate, right? And when your younger brothers and sisters graduate. And what you do today is creating a future for all those students. And I hope you tell this story, because it's important. The lesson I have here this morning is on the offering that we give to our elders when we ask them to do something for us. And what I'm asking for is the prayers at the tree today, that they uplift the future of our students who are Cree and Métis, but also all of us who are treaty people, that all of the students will understand better what our responsibility is as a nation and as a city and as a culture of a school today and in the future. So I'm asking for your prayers with this tobacco on this cloth this morning so that what we live together in days to come is better than today. Aye, aye.
We're going to be honored with an Eagle staff here at LCSD for all our schools in recognition of our dedication in reconciliation as a school that's wanting to learn and a school that's wanting to teach.
I think they're doing way better than they were. I come home every day with new things I've learned about Indigenous peoples that my parents would have never learned. They didn't know about residential schools even though they were alive when they happened. And my little sister, she's Cree, so it's really important that she has a connection to her heritage from her school and she has a place where she can go where she's accepted.
Like going to Holy, you guys never gave up on me, you know what I mean? And I was a rough kid. I made a lot of bad choices, drugs, alcohol, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it was you guys, the people, that like helped me bridge that gap, helped me to graduate, you know what I mean? And a large part, or even like just a portion of who I am today is because of that. And as for what could be done, I think you guys are on the right path, you know what I mean? Celebrating the culture and teaching the culture and celebrating these young individuals is gonna do more for them than you know what I mean? Because you're allowing them to be themselves and you're telling them it's okay to be you now. Go and be you.
Reconciliation is not going to happen overnight, and we have to try to be patient. Residential schools existed in Canada, in Saskatchewan, for 122 years. So if we think reconciliation is just like next year or the year after, it's going to take some like generations. It's going to take to see the fruition of the seeds we're planting. So, you know, but let's walk together, let's crawl together. In the end, we'll all be so much better off as people, and we'll all be so much better off as a country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you can do better than that. Let's give a loud round of applause for LCSD. Before we go into the closing remarks, we're going to showcase the dancers that were part of our grand entry this morning. And first of all, I would like to apologize to the dancers for not acknowledging them in the grand entry. It is not my intention, dancers, that I didn't acknowledge you for being a part of the grand entry. So, man, that's 2 strikes. Colleen was looking at me, so I said, I better make that announcement. Singers, if you can help us out, we're going to ask the male dancers to come on, actually female dancers come on up here, and we're going to ask you to come and stand in the line here, and the singers are going to render us Dancers, can you do 2 or 4 starts? Somebody give me all right, 2 starts. They said 2 starts. Singers, we're going to ask you to give us 2 starts. Ladies, girls, and little girls, come on over and come and stand in the line. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is who we are as Indigenous people. We showcase the beautiful regalia that you see on these dancers. And these colors, the beautiful colors that you see here today, I just want to explain to you that this is not something that you go into a store and just buy. This is not something that you go into a costume store and just pick out. I think this is what I'm going to buy today. The regalia that you see, that these beautiful girls, these women, and that little girl over there, that little tiny tot that's standing over there, if you notice the beautiful beadwork and the beautiful colors that these ladies are wearing, all these designs and these colors have been passed down from families, generation to generation. These are traditional colors, traditional designs. It's no different when your grandparents would pass down a materialistic thing, like, for example, this hat, and say, here, I am moving on, and I want you to take care of my hat when I pass. It's no different to that. I'm using that as an example. These colors and these beautiful designs that you see here in front of you are some of the family colors that have been gone on for many generations. And these young ladies that are standing in front of you are proud to wear and continue to wear the colors of their families. And some of these colors they earn to wear to pay respect for all their families that have moved on to the spirit world. Singers, I'm going to ask you to help us out with 2 starts. Dancers, pretend you are at the World's Championship powwow and dance your heart out for the audience. All right, singers, whenever you're ready. All right. Thank you very much, ladies. We'll be taking autographs in the back. No, just kidding. Gentlemen, if you can come up forward here and come and line up and find a spot where we can ask you to come and dance. We're going to make a little room, I guess, over here. The dancers need more room. All right, dancers, we're going to go with 2 starts. Oh, 4 starts for the male, I guess. 4 starts, they said. So 4 starts. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, like I was mentioning earlier, the women wear a different type of regalia. Also, the men also wear a different type of regalia. If you look to my far right over here, you'll see a chicken dancer. You'll see a grass dancer, the second one. You'll see a traditional dancer here to my right. And over here, you'll see 2 fancy dancers. You notice they're wearing two bustles. We call them bustles. One behind back and one right behind lower back. And we have another traditional dancer over here to my left. And we have a little grass dancer here also to my left. So why they're asking for a little more room is you're going to be witnessing some real fast, hard dancing from the fancy dancers. And of course, the traditional dancers and the grass dancers, they each have their own unique style. Once again, all this regalia that you see that these dancers are wearing is all handmade. You can't just go to Walmart and buy any of these items, okay? So all this regalia that you're wearing is all traditionally made, beautiful beadwork, beautiful designs, and also, again, like I said earlier, the colors, again, are traditional colors that they have been passed on from generation to generation. And if you have any questions in regards to some of the regalia, feel free to do so and go ask some of the dancers. And if you want to take a picture with them, you're more than welcome to do so. So ladies, don't go anywhere. I'm sure some of the people in the audience would like to take a picture with you. So, singers, give us 4 starts for the male dancers whenever you're ready. Oh, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much, dancers. Thank you very much. Aha, you can excuse yourself. Like I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a lot of athleticism to be a dancer, especially, with all that regalia that all the dancers have. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, at one time, I was a dancer. Okay? Thank you. When people talk about stories, they say, 20 years ago I was a dancer, right? And I decided to retire. My story is a little different. 100 pounds ago, I was a dancer. Hey, just kidding. I didn't even know how to dance. Besides, I don't look like an athlete. It takes a lot of athleticism to be a dancer. A couple of things we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to invite another guest speaker to help us out with the closing remarks for today's event. And after we do that, we're going to ask one more song from the singers. And this is all about, once again, truth and reconciliation, but also, being a part of today's special event and hearing everybody laugh and smile and creating new friendship. And we're going to have a friendship dance after the closing remarks. So singers, we're going to ask you to help us out with one more song. In the meantime, I would like to ask you to help me out once again for the closing remarks. Mrs. Paula Scott, Board Chair, come up front, please. And at the same time, dignitaries, you know who you are, the flag carriers that carried in the flags. We're going to ask you to stand in front of all the flags while Paula Scott does your closing remarks. Hastamik, come and stand wherever your flag is.
Thank you, Grant. And even with 2 strikes, you have done a fantastic job this morning in leading us through. So thank you. When we first started to talk about reconciliation, I had no idea what it would look like or even really where to start. But today I know. We belong to Treaty 6, and I have a much better understanding of what that really means. It is about listening, learning, and exchanging our gifts. Our gift at LCSD is education that respects everyone and is about kindness and faith. Today, our elders are honoring us with the gift of an Eagle staff. We humbly accept this gift because it will guide us in understanding what it means to be treaty people in Canada. This is a precious gift for our school division, and it means we have the responsibility to walk this road together. Reconciliation is not a moment in time. It's a shared journey towards a more just nation. As we continue to learn, we become better teachers to those around us. I sincerely thank our elders for your teachings and for sharing your gifts openly to our staff and our students. In February, we will open the Holy Rosary expansion, and as we welcome all of you to walk together into the new building, this Eagle staff will walk with us and guide us. We continue to ask all of you for your prayers and for God's blessing as we journey together. Thank you again for joining us this morning.
All right. Thank you, Paula. If all the dignitaries could man your colors at this time, meaning if you can take your colors, and we're going to do a dance out, and it's only respective that we do that. When I say we're going to do a dance out, is meaning that now we are done the ceremony for today, but that doesn't mean we're going to leave. We're asking everybody to leave, because once we dance out the Eagle staff, we're going to ask everybody to join us with one friendship dance before we end today's ceremony. And according to my program, I don't want to make another X here, so I gotta make sure I do this right. 11:30, I guess we're almost on time. They're going to be doing a press conference. So again, singers, help us out with a dance out. You lead, yeah, and then you guys will follow him, and then you guys follow. Whenever you're ready. All right, we're going to have, if you can all rise, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have one start of the Eagle Staff song, and then we're going to dance out with a victory. All right, you may be seated, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to dance in victory in honor of the Eagle staff and the colors that you have beside us here. Whenever you're ready, Mike, we ask you to dance us out. Aha! Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make mention the Eagle staff that is being led out in front of you and the colors that are followed, carried by the dignitaries. This is in with respect for the Truth and Reconciliation and also the Orange T-shirt Day. And of course, the beautiful song and the beautiful dancers that have joined us this morning. We acknowledge and thank you for helping us out on this beautiful ceremony here today. Let's give them a round of applause.